of big YouTube stories that happened this past week, Lonzo. A person who has done a lot of interviews lately. He goes by the name of G-Face, Ghostface. He's been on No Jumper. He has his own platform and things like that. He was recently arrested by the feds for PPP loans dating back to 2020. Remember when everybody was doing those PPP frauds? Well, 4 years later, man, caught up with his ass. Feds built up a case, and you know the feds don't go in unless they have a solid case. But, what are your thoughts on people who think that easy money is the best way out? And not only that, Lonzo, this dude goes around flossing with big old stacks of hundreds and doing the whole talking to the phone thing and dropping money on the table. The allure, the flossiness, it's all a lie. I just want your full opinion on all of that.
During the pandemic, I took advantage of some of the government programs like everybody, like so many people did. But that PPP loan, nah, that was one thing. I said, Negro, if that ain't a trap, my name ain't Lonzo Williams. I mean, it was too good to be true. You gonna give me some money and then tell me it's gonna be forgiven? Nah. Dude, it's when you survive the hood, survive gangbanging, survive opportunities to sell dope. I was telling somebody just the other day, as a young man, I was stupid as everybody else. We had an opportunity, we called ourselves, we're going to pull a move at the local dairy. All I had to do was drive. Pulled in the dairy, and all of a sudden, a cop car pulled up. They got thirsty at the same time, and that was my moment. Like, you know what? This might not be for me. Okay, when the cop get thirsty at the same time, we're gonna put them in right now. Man, I told that dude, I'm finna go home, dude. I'm out. That was my sign. Okay, that was my omen. Leave that alone. I've always believed in omens. Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and give y'all no super spiritual hocus pocus bullshit. But sometimes, even right now, if I get pissed off and decide to call somebody and my phone rang before that's the sign I shouldn't call them. One time my son was younger, me and Roger Clayton, Uncle Jam's Army, got into it big time. And I was prepared to go to his store and commit a crime. I got tired after all these years. I was prepared to go to his store and put my hands on him. But understand, Roger had a bad heart. He died from a heart attack. And as I'm putting on my shoes, I didn't give a damn that day. I put on my shoes, walking out my studio. At that time, 3-year-old son came outside. Daddy, where you going? Daddy, going to take care of some business. Can I go? At that time, my son wouldn't let me go nowhere without him being in the car with me. No, man, you can't. I can't take my son and watch me go whoop somebody's ass. What kind of shit? What kind of daddy would I be? No, Dad, I can't go. You can't go, man. He cried his ass off. And I said, you know what? It must be a reason. I set my ass back down and let it go. Okay? I've always believed in certain things happening for a reason. And that's just how I roll. I can't speak for nobody else. I'm not going to tell nobody else it's good for them, but it works for me. All right. So, yeah. Real.
If it isn't too personal, what was the reason that you decided that you were going to go over and F Roger Clayton up? Like, do you remember what it was about?
Oh, yeah.
Was it even that serious? Yeah. Oh, you remember? Okay.
Yeah. A lady had booked my club at the Hollywood Park Casino. From the time I got to the Hollywood Park Casino, we and Roger always had a problem. He was there first. He got kicked out, and I was brought in about 18 months later. You would think all the wounds would have healed by then, but no. The fact that it was me, he still had a hard-on for that particular club. And my accountant and one of his clients had booked a Dramatics to do a party at the Total Experience for her birthday. The lady was rich. She said, no problem. She called Ron Banks up, got the deal, and it was going to be at the Total Experience. I'm sorry, Maverick Flats. Maverick Flats, a little small club on Crenshaw. Well, my accountant says, hey, I got one of my clients. He got a big old club over on at the Hollywood Park Casino. You might want to talk to him. set up a meeting. Within 20 minutes, the lady loved the club. She fell in love with me. She gave me like $4,000-$5,000. I ain't got a lot to kick it. She gave me $2,500 to rent the club, another $1,000 to buy posters and flyers, and another $1,000 to start the radio campaign. Okay, and cash is here. Threw it at me. So I go out to get the color flyers made. I call KJLH. We're gonna do this at the club. Roger got wind of it, and he was harassing the shit out of the lady and the casino and me. And all of a sudden, right, maybe 10 days before the event, the lady stopped calling. I couldn't get on the phone for shit. I'm like, what's going on? I'm calling and calling. She usually called me right back or send me a text. Hey, I'm on the phone. I'll call you right back. Well, this took the time. She wasn't calling me back. Then finally her daughter called, said, my mama been in the hospital for the past 3 days. She almost had a stroke. Her blood pressure is really high behind this event. I said, what's going on? She says, some guy named Roger told Ron Banks that he was being used. And he canceled the show. Huh? Yeah, she got on the phone. She said, Ron Banks sent me this flyer that we didn't do. I don't know where the flyer came from. It was a paper flyer with some bullshit on it. And I ain't used paper flyers since the 70s. I used those high gloss flyers. And Ron got the flyer, said we was charging $75. She was only charging $35. It was all messed up. And it was just obviously she had been sabotaged. And I knew who did it. And I'm going to whoop his ass. I'm tired of this shit. And like I said, I was on the way over there. My son stopped me, and I told her the same thing. She wanted to stop me. I said, "Nah, I'm tired. This ain't the only situation I'm going to whoop his ass for. Like my mama would say, I'm finna get him for old and new. This ain't the first time he's pulled this kind of bullshit." And she said, "Please, please, please." And my son tripped. I said, I backed up off of it. So she called back the next day, and she had talked to Ron, and Ron agreed to do the show. But he wouldn't do it at the casino, at Hollywood Park Casino with me. She wanted her to bring it back to Maverick Flats. Maverick Flats. No, the little small Maverick Flats. Yeah, Maverick Flats. She wanted to bring it back to Maverick Flats, and long as she did it there and agreed to charge the same price, he was cool. And then now I owe her $4,500. I did all this work. She done rented the club. I'm in debt. But you know what? That's how God works. She was so cool. She don't even worry about it. We get it straight. I swear, I ain't got a lot to kick it. When I left the Hollywood Park Casino and came over to the club, she was doing a movie, and she wanted to use the club for a movie, and I gave her a room for a couple of days and some other stuff, and we worked it out. That's the kind of people that I've been blessed to have in my circle. So no matter how much of an asshole he was, it still didn't mess me up. It means we still cool to this day. Yeah, yep. But my biggest fear was, and this is something people have to take into consideration. When you're out in these streets, you don't know what the health condition is of the person you're about to fight. The fact that you're about to fight them could raise their blood pressure to the point where they can have a stroke, heart attack. And you got a case, bro. You got a case. Okay?
Yeah.
You got a case. So beware that shit. Okay? Don't think, I didn't hit him. No, you scared him to death. Literally. You scared him to death. You might not get a murder beef, but you damn sure gonna get you a manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, some shit. You go into court. Okay? You go into court, and depending on what the situation is, you may or may not come home. You may get probation, but something like that is because you don't know. A lot of guys are sick as a dog, man. Out here playing badass, and all of a sudden that nigga fuck around and he could have a whatever, any kind of heart issue, aneurysm or something, fall over, and because you caused that reaction, your ass is in trouble. Mm-hmm. I didn't touch it. You didn't have to. All you gotta do was threaten him, and his ass, the blood pressure went through the roof, and he checked out. Now what you gonna do?
You know what? That's a great segue. Speaking of badasses.